What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, firstly, this is a redonkulously exciting day because we actually have the release of the Digimon TCG in English. The pre-sale. It counts, gosh darn it, it counts. I am sitting here next to 2 of each starter deck, 2 booster boxes, 4 dash packs, 3... I can't even remember what I'm saying here. 3 of the promo packs. There's so much cool Digimon stuff here. Don't worry, there's an opening coming later today. But I've actually had to delay doing my opening video because a card has been revealed that is so gosh darned exciting. I literally can't wait to make this video and show it to you. So rather than do my opening, which I was in the middle of setting up for, I'm going to delay my opening so that I can show you this new Darkdramon card. Shout out to the lovely folks over at the gaming channel whose name I can't say for providing the translation. The kind of card where as soon as it's revealed, a whole bunch of people look at it and go, oh yeah, no, that's broken, that's going to see a whole bunch of play. It is a level 6 black Digimon. Now, it's a 13 cost to play normally, which is very expensive and very relevant. We'll get there in a moment. It is a free cost to evolve, which is about normal, but we're not evolving this. We are never evolving into this card. And it is an 11,000 power, which is, it's alright. It's about standard for a level 6. Certainly, if you're paying 13 cost to play it normally, you'd like more than an 11,000 power Digimon. But actually, no, it is totally fine. There are 2 skills here, and they are both nuts. So, starting off then, we've got a new keyword skill, Haste. Now, if you play Magic, or if you played a Final Fantasy trading card game, I probably don't need to tell you what Haste does, because both of those games use the keyword. Of course, as with all new keywords, we don't have the official English name for it yet. It won't be in Booster 1.5. This will be in Booster 2 or whatever they call it. But it's blatantly going to be Haste because that's what... And I have been told that Magic use the same characters for their keyword Haste. So I haven't checked with Final Fantasy. I will. It's very, very likely. This Digimon can attack the turn it comes into play. Now, there is a big question here, and I honestly don't think we're going to get the question by looking at the card. I think we are going to essentially... I think we're going to get the answer in an FAQ. I don't think it's obvious looking at the card. The question is, does this only work when you play it normally as a 13 cost, or does this work if you evolve it up? I.e., can I play a level 3, evolve to a 4, evolve to a 5, evolve to a 6, that being Darkdramon, and then get Haste? Honestly, a lot of the time, it's not going to be a huge issue either way, because frankly, you're not going to have the memory to play all of those cards in succession, so it's going to be kind of irrelevant. And I know a lot of you are thinking, come on, Wossy, 13 cost card. How often are you going to play a 13 cost card and actually be able to attack because the turn hasn't passed to your opponent? The answer is literally never, because playing a 13 cost card will always pass it to your opponent, but it won't. We'll get there in a moment. My personal theory on this, and we will need a confirmation, my theory is it is only when you play, not when you digivolve. Now, the translation we have reads when it comes into play, which could imply digivolving, but the thing is, if you digivolve, you're also getting these inheritable skills. And I think if we opened it up, this keyword, to being able to digivolve up through a few stages and use those inheritable skills as well on the first turn, I think it would end up somebody at some point, now or in the future, would break the game doing it. I don't think it's going to be likely. So you get to attack the turn you come in. You get to come in and immediately take out a security card or immediately take out a resting Digimon. And this is huge because this ruins your opponent's strategy. This ruins the maths. Your opponent, and Digimon is one of those games where we're often thinking in terms of attacks. My opponent wins in X number of attacks. Amount of security I've got remaining +1 because you've got to attack with no security to win, minus how many blockers I've got. That is how many attacks it is going to take my opponent to win the game. But it's okay because I know that they can only attack with Digimon that are on the field at the end of their previous turn. Not anymore. Not when this comes in. This gives your opponent potentially an extra attack, and that is huge. There is a question here. There is a question to be asked about cards like Garurumon. And I'm going to have to apologise here because this card is one of those where we're going to be asking awkward questions that we do not necessarily have the answer to. I feel very confident that when we get the official FAQ for Set 4, this is going to be a Digimon that features very heavily in that FAQ because there are a lot of awkward questions. But the Garurumon, the one that came around in Set 2, has a skill whereby when you play it, you unsuspend one of your Digimon. So my question is, if I play this normally and it's still my turn, and then I attack, if I can unsuspend it using something like Garurumon, can you still attack again? I'm assuming the answer to this one is yes, and this creates another scenario whereby you're actually attacking potentially multiple times with this Digimon the turn you bring it into play. Now, one giant question we do have here is, well, hang on a second. How are you playing this without giving a turn to your opponent? Because the memory gauge has a hard cap of 10. If you've got 10 memory and you play this, it goes to your opponent's turn. Well, when you play it, you may return up to 5 D-Brigade Digimon from your trash to the top of your deck, and for each one returned, you gain 2 memory. Now, we do have an answer here. We have seen rulings like this before. And the deal is this. You do all the memory before you figure out whoever's turn it is. So if you've got 4 memory remaining, you play this, your opponent has 9 memory, you return 5 D-Brigade Digimon to the top of your deck, and then it goes to you with 1 memory, and then you carry on the game and you've got 1 memory. Essentially, this is not a 13 cost to play normally. If you've done this properly, this is a free cost to play normally. With Haste. A free cost 11,000 power Digimon with Haste is frankly preposterous. Absolutely ridiculous. Worth pointing out, this is a rare, not a super rare, so it is going to be easier to pull, so that alone is pretty gosh darned awesome. I cannot be the only one that looks at this like the kind of card which is going to take down tournaments. This is ridiculous. Now, there are certain things you need to achieve. You need to make sure that you've got 5 D-Brigade Digimon in your trash, but this is a kind of deck where you're going to be south-milling. This is a kind of purple deck where you play stuff like Impmon. When it's deleted, you trash the top 3 cards of your deck, and all of the other purple stuff that can help you to mill your own deck. And of course, generally speaking, milling your own deck is a bad thing because then you run the risk of not having a card to draw at the beginning of your turn, which of course is one of the lost conditions for the game. But because you're returning 5 cards to the top of your deck, you're actually protected from decking out. Or you can just play a really aggressive deck with lots of small D-Brigade Digimon, knowing that they're getting destroyed and not caring, because once you've had 5 of them deleted and they're all in your trash, you can then play this as a free cost with Haste. And that, incidentally, is how you can play this and then keep attacking, because, yeah, you're fine. You're in a good position, because you can just keep going. I adore this, ladies and gentlemen, and I know I'm not the only one. This is an easy card to love. This is an easy card to look at and go, that's ridiculous, that's a little bit broken, how is that so good? Now, there are obvious counters, and now a bunch of people have already pointed out Tumon. Tumon is a very obvious and easy counter to this. There is another one, we'll get there in a second. Tumon here just has the skill whereby your opponent cannot gain memory except by using tamer effects. So what would happen if a Tumon was on the field, and this is a permanent skill, Tumon just needs to be there somewhere. If Tumon is on the field on your opponent's side of the field, you play this down as a 13 cost. You've got Haste. You can return 5D Brigade Digimon to the top of your deck, but you cannot gain the 10 memory. It goes to your opponent's turn. The haste is irrelevant. You have essentially played a vanilla 11,000 power 13 cost Digimon. So yes, this does look like a nuts ridiculous card, and it kind of is a nuts ridiculous card, but we've already seen super blatant obvious counters to this card. While we're here, did anybody else remember what the other Digimon with this skill is? It's the far more adorable Terriermon. And you can believe me that I knew it, or you can think that I looked it up, and I don't really care, honestly. That's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. See how trusting you feel. But if your opponent is playing either Terriermon or Tumon, and these are the kind of effects, right? We end up getting them for all 6 colours. So even though we've only had them for yellow and black so far, I believe they're the only 2 we've had. We're going to get them for the other colours down the line. I feel very, very confident about this. Now, there is one other question I have about this card, and I don't know the answer, but I think I know the answer. What happens if you have got 2 or fewer memory remaining? So if you've got 3 memory remaining, you play this, it goes to 10 on your opponent's side, but you then return 5D Brigade to the top of your deck, which gives you 10 memory back, which puts you at 0, and remember, if it's a 0, it stays your turn. It doesn't go to your opponent's turn, then to 0, it's their turn. We sort everything out, then we look at the memory gauge, it's 0, it's still your turn. But what if you've got 1 or 2 memory when you play this? Can you play it? Because if you've got 2 memory remaining, playing a 13 cost card would put it to 11 on your opponent's turn, and I don't think that's possible. I know there is a hard cap of 10 on the memory gauge, that is definite. And I know we sort out all the memory before trying to decide whose turn it is, but can you play a 13 cost Digimon when you've got 2 memory, knowing that although it goes to more than 10 on your opponents, it immediately gets fixed? I don't believe that you can. And this is one I feel fairly confident about. So we're going to have to wait and see with this one. But I do feel fairly confident that if you don't have free memory, you can't play this card. Don't get too caught up about this. Remember, we've got like 1 billion tamers that have the skill at the start of your turn. If your memory is 2 or less, set it to free, like the Taikamiya, which is coming in booster 1 over here. It's already out here. The game has launched, and I mentioned that. I'm pretty excited. So you can play something like Taikamiya, guarantee that you've always got at least free memory, which will guarantee you can always play the card. It is counterable. But when it's not countered, oh my goodness, this is amazing. We do need to look and see about the D-Brigade cards and how good they're going to be. But at first glance, this has the potential to be one of the very best cards in the game. And there is not a hint of exaggeration when I say this. But I'd like to know what you think about it. I'd like to know if I'm getting a little bit too excited or whether you think it could be amazing as well. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.